Page 74, two guitars. It's a nice little piece. I remember doing a tutorial on this piece in the adult John Thompson book. Don't remember what I said, so let's hope I'm close to what I said then. I'd like to point out a few things here. We're getting into some tricky stuff here, so let's just take this slow and easy. Starting in the right hand, we have all these staccatos. I prefer a finger staccato on this, but if you want to do the wrist staccato, or it's up to you. These are short. I can do this when it's short, one note at a time, and it's soft. A finger staccato is fine with me. We got one flat in the key signature. This is in the key of D minor. Yeah, it's a nice key. So you have B flat in the first, and it starts with a rest. 1 and 2 and. So 1 and. So the G is on the end. 1 and 2. Third measure, C sharp. Watch the fingering. It's a good fingering. Second line, the last two measures. The second ending there. Watch the fingering. 1. It's not the only fingering we can use, but that's a good fingering. Use that. For the chord, it's a wrist staccato. Third line, 1, 3. We want to hear the top note with here, and it's just sforzando on that. And it's staccato. Next measure, accent, and then sforzando. No staccato here. Now it's staccato. And then no staccato. Isn't this cool? Now, last line on page 74. First measure, you're coming off of the B flat, and you're going to lift up because it's the end of that little slur, and then the triplets. And before you play the last note in that measure, lift up. So separate the G sharp from the A. So it's here. Next measure, the A is staccato. So follow those staccatos very carefully. It'll be fine. Then you're down here. Sforzando. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Top of page 75. Follow their fingering. Going on, second line. Now we're in this little trill-like thing, and they want a 4-2 here because you got a C and a B flat. Second measure, watch it, it's a 3-1. You got two B flats back to back. There, the end of the first measure going into the second, so it's a 2-3. And then again, two A's back to back, it's a 1-3. Last measure. You do that again for the two measures, and then the third measure. The third line is here. Follow that fingering. That's a good fingering. Then it goes back to what I was doing at the beginning. The left hand, staccato and light here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Treble clef. You're just continuing what the right hand was doing. Bass clef. You get down to the second line. Last measure is here. And then it's slurring to the next measure. You got to move from here to here quickly. That is a staccato, but you still got to. You may have to practice that. And then lift up before you do the B sharp. And then C sharp staccato. I want to hear that. Last measure, third line. That's a G. Last line. That's an F in the second measure. Etc. I think you can get the rest of that. When you get over to page 75, second line, here's these broken chords. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Then it goes back to what it was at the beginning. Slowly put the hands together. Lightly. Now in the fourth measure over the first line here, that last 4/8 notes, that needs to sound like one hand played the whole thing. So practice that until you can get the hands to match so it sounds like one hand played it all. So it needs to flow. That's fine. Second line, second ending here. Now, it gets a little tricky here in the third line down, the last couple measures. It starts getting, because of the accents and the staccatos and so it'd be the last two measures, third line here. That slurred and staccato, and then staccato. Now it's slurred. It's not a staccato. It's just a regular, but separate it before you go on. The last line on page 74 here. Third measure. You have a staccato in the right hand and a legato in the left. You see that in the third measure? It's here. That last note, a staccato here, but keep it because you're going to connect it. Then at the top of page 73, staccato. Just follow their fingering, it's fine. Going on, second line on page 75, treble clef in the left hand, staccato in the left hand, and then it goes back to what it was at the beginning. Now, dynamic wise, let's go over this carefully. It's starting out soft, so it's really sort of both hands. You have two guitars going on and both hands are sort of a guitar. One guitar is playing this part and the other guitar is playing the other part. Softly, and now you're going to crescendo. Where are you crescendoing to? I think you're crescendoing right here. Those notes are the important ones, so it's a, yeah, then you come back down. Or the second ending there on the second line is here. Now you're coming down softly and you think you're going to come, that's soft. So the last measure, the second line, and then the last note is very loud. It's all of a sudden, it's a surprise. Shock 'em. Ah. So it's just because you're, and then all of a sudden it's wake up. Then you're the third line down, the last measure or so, medium soft. And then the last line, the last three measures or so, or the last two measures, you're loud. So it's the pickup. And then at the top of 75, you're loud. So the second line is this is the exciting part. You build up to this. The first line on page 75 leads you into this, and this. Now it's hard to play this fast, and then when you add loud on top of it, that just makes it worse. So you have to kind of balance it. Second and third line are both loud. So you're ending the third line here, and then all of a sudden in the next line it's slow again and you're soft again. Just like it was at the beginning. Then you have that swell at the end of that line, and then the last line, and the last two measures you're going to get even softer than that. You just dying away, and there's a polka rit at the end, a polka retard. Slow down a little bit, so it's here. So it's slowly at the beginning, and then you got presto over on page 75. Presto is faster than fast. It's about as fast as you can play. It's just, you don't get much faster than presto. So it's up to you. What can you control on this? That's going to determine your speed, whatever that is. Now they've added a little bit of pedal, and frankly I think you can play this piece without pedal, but they're trying to add it in as if the piece isn't complicated enough already. But in case you're adventurous enough to try it, I think it's a complete waste. They've only added pedal in a couple little spots. And all it's doing here is really they're reinforcing this loud half notes. That's really all it's for, because the way they've got it marked in the first measure, the third line, they're covering up the staccato. They would have you pedal it, that first note, that staccato, so it would cover it up. And I think the staccato is important. So if you're going to pedal it, don't pedal it until you get to the half note. And then release it when you play the eighth note. But why don't you pedal that half note? If you're going to pedal the one half note, pedal the other half note. That one. And again, and the third measure over, they're having you pedal the first note. Now it's not staccato, but it's not connected either. So it should have a little space. So if you're going to pedal, only pedal the half note. And if you're going to do that, then pedal the half note in the next measure too. And that's it. Don't pedal anything else. You just got 4 half notes there you can pedal to reinforce the overtones. And I'm going to leave the pedal out because I disagree with putting it in here. I don't think it's necessary. So that's pretty much it. I like to play through it very, very, very slowly. I'm not going to change tempos. It's just going to do the whole thing really slowly just to take notes and rhythms. If you'd like to play along, by all means play along. I'm going to count in 4 since 4 beats count in because it's a 4/4 time. So the right hand is here, left hand's here. Okay. If you're going to use pedal, put your foot on the pedal, have it ready to go. 1, 2, ready and go, and repeat. 2. Rest, rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest,